Hey friends, today we're going to talk about the things that I loved during the summer, the plants that worked, the ones that didn't, location, my favorite seeds, my lessons learned, and we're also going to do some harvesting. I was growing all my food in the raised beds, but this year I decided to do some here in my orchard bed, and I actually really loved it. I'm going to show you what I have. First of all, it's a mess, so I'm just warning you, but I do have this okra here, the burgundy okra. I have 2 of them, and I need to harvest some of these okras. They've been here for a while and they're getting pretty large. I also have this one eggplant. I don't know if you see it, but it wraps around all this area and it's huge. I haven't been able to tie it back, and I had no idea eggplant did this. I also have some basil here that I had before and some zinnias, so it's gotten a little crazy here. But now I know that things really worked out. I hardly watered this area. There's no drip system in this corner, but everything really thrived. I was also forgetting I have this really large eggplant here that I need to harvest. Another one that's growing there. I love to add some flowers, but this is it so far. This is quite large, so it's pretty tough. I'm going to just harvest it so the plant can continue to grow more. This is not my favorite, actually. Mac also mentioned that in her video. I actually do like the Star of David, which is this one. I'll show you right now. This produces a lot more than the burgundy okra. You get maybe 1 or 2 at a time, and it's not the best. This is my Star of David that also needs to be harvested. I have 2 here in between all of this sweet potato and all this other stuff that I'll show you in a minute. I wanted to show you the gorgeous okra flowers. So here's the difference. Star of David, and then this is the red burgundy. Excuse some of the stuff that hasn't been cleaned, but this is one of my favorite zinnias. I believe there are 2 plants here, and that's this one, Cupid Mix from Baker Creek. It's been beautiful in this area. It filled in by itself. It's hanging over the raised bed, so it's not taking up space inside. I snuck one of them in the middle here, and this vine here is pulling it forward. But look at the color of this one. I think it just does this pop in the center here. It's just getting to grow. It took a little bit. I think it's gonna stand out here in this area. One of my new favorites is this vine. I cannot pronounce the name, but I put it on here on the screen. I purchased this one from my local nursery. It was about this much in height. It's grown about 2 to 3 feet already, and it's supposed to grow about 20 feet long. And it does have these beautiful blooms here. Every single day I have blooms. This is way better than what I had here before. I'm not doing the morning glory. I didn't like it. I love this one, and this one is a perennial, so it will come back next year. I think it dies back in the winter. I forgot to mention, see my butterfly? I also added peppers and eggplant over here, and I really love it. I don't do anything to this area. This was a trial, and I think they're thriving. No drip system here. They're only receiving the water from rain when it happens, and every now and then I'll think about them and come water them. So I have a few here with all this other weed stuff that I haven't cleaned. If you didn't know that I had an orchard, I do, and I have over 30 fruit trees just in this small space right here. My sweet peppers have done great in this area. Only had a few aphid problems, but overall I've been trying to keep up with them. I'm still getting a lot of peppers. If you're curious from last year, I haven't seen any ratatouille mess with any of my plants. This Mexican marigold was here last year from the freeze. I cut it all the way back, and I thought I removed all the roots and it just came back. But it has not bloomed. It didn't bloom last year, so I'm not sure if maybe now that it likes it better than last year that I'll get some blooms, but it's been like this for a very long time, and I don't really like it. I think it's just a waste of space. If you watched my onion video, I'll link it here. I added some snapdragons in between, and it shaded them out, so I'm not gonna do that again. The snapdragons are here. I added the coleus in the back recently because I know that soon this area is going to have some shade. I didn't want that space to be empty like it was last year. All this is going to be replaced very soon for fall stuff. And if you're curious about how this is doing, it's doing really well. This is the red shiso. It took a while, but I think now that it has a little bit more shade, it's doing really good, and I love the color in this corner. If you notice, I have some in the back there. It's not as big as those, but that is another area that I was experimenting with. I have a huge basil here, and I really love it. I love sneaking into the garden. And if you notice, there are a lot of bees. I didn't have as many bees as I did last year because I didn't have that large basil that I had in that corner over there. So I think this is a good way to get more pollinators here. I need to come back and cut it a little bit, but I really just love the way it looks. This one is a different kind, and it has a lot more blooms. It's a smaller plant, but look at the amount of blooms compared to this one. It's just a lot more, but I honestly love this look better. This one here is the African blue basil. In this bed, I have a lot of okra. I used to have all my watermelons, and unfortunately I don't have any this year, and I was really bummed about that, but I learned a lot from it. I also have my first dahlias, and I'm not sure if I like the dahlias in the bed. They're very, very tall. Wasn't expecting that. I also didn't pinch them back. Next year I think I'm definitely going to put them in the orchard beds. Here's some of my okras. This is another dahlia here, and it wraps around this way, and it's just grows everywhere if you just let it do its thing. I just kind of throw things in there. These potato vines are new. I wanted something to drip, and they're fabulous for the colder months, and hopefully it looks real pretty on the corners. I have one over there too. I added all this extra okra. Let me know what to do with the okra that's too hard to eat already, because I have no idea. This bed has all my hot peppers, and I really love the look. Look how they're just draping down. Some red, some green that are ready to harvest. I've got the lipstick, red savina, the habaneros, jalapenos. They do need supports, or else the wind will blow them down and end up like that. But you know, they still grow all around. So I think it's still bushes, really nice. Some of the ones that I snuck in late and they were little are now growing and thriving. This is a toothache plant. I didn't grow this one from seed. I tried and it didn't work, but I found it at our local nursery, and it actually does work. It doesn't taste good, but it does have the numbing effect. This kale has really surprised me. It has been here since winter. It's gone through the whole summer. I actually really love it, and I can't wait to include it again. It survived the frost, everything. I love it. And back here, this is lemon balmed. It barely had any roots to grow, and it did, because I transferred it over on this side, and it loves it here. It's thrived the entire year in comparison to this lemon balm here under my lemon tree that really can't do the summer heat. This receives the evening sun, and it's really hot, but it comes back every year no matter what. That's a huge difference. I love this spot for it, for sure. Ooh, I was forgetting. Remember my giant zucchini that I had here? Well, that's this one. Johnny Seeds Golden Glory. Oh my gosh, this one produced so many zucchinis. It was in this area. I am truly going to redo this one. It was the best. I gave so much of that zucchini away. It grows large. It is super productive. I highly recommend it. Moving on to my arbor. We're going to talk about my favorite cherry tomatoes. I know some of you don't like them because they have a tougher skin, but that's the Super Sweet 100 from Johnny Seeds. They are super sweet. It is in fact true, and they are still thriving. I have so many cherry tomatoes. I just harvested about 30 of them a couple days ago, and it looks like I have a lot more to go. The others I honestly didn't like. Those were my favorite from last year, and they continue to be my favorite. I also want to add this one right here. It looks a little bit crazy. That's the white currant from Baker Creek. These little baby tomatoes are so sweet and delicious. They're definitely going to be a repeat because I love to just snack on them here in the garden. I don't really like to go in the kitchen and cook with them because I think you get the most value of your food when you eat it fresh. So I like to eat them like grapes. I also wanted to show you, I have 2 plants here. That's the 2 cherry tomatoes, and it's filled in a lot. So that is a lot of plant in this one area. So earlier on, I had 2 on each end, and then I even had a bean in the middle. I'm not going to do that again. I think 2 plants, 1 on each side is enough, and only on this end, not on the other side, because I think a lot of the plants that I had in the back received a lot of shade from those, so it wasn't a good idea. The beans that I have here were the pink lady, and I didn't receive not 1 bean. I think it was a pest or something, so I'm not going to do those again as well. I don't know what happened. It looked beautiful, but I didn't even have 1 bean. From all the other tomatoes that I had here in the back, the only one that was also my favorite was this one, the mushroom basket, and it's beautiful. It was delicious. I'll definitely do this one again. And here I have this ginormous basil that I said I was going to cut back, and I haven't yet, and it's starting to flower. I love passing by it, so that's why I haven't cut it back. And that's this one here, Baker Creek Cardinal Basil. It smells so good, and look at the blooms. I think it's just gorgeous. Moving on over to the last 2 beds. I love this vine, and I honestly thought it was beans, and it's not. It's a sweet potato vine, and it's blooming. Beautiful, beautiful lavender flowers here. I can't wait to see it all across the arbor. I had beans and cucumbers along this arbor in the summer, and I truly love these. They are so productive. It looked beautiful hanging. I'm definitely going to repeat this, especially because of the color. I think this is a great variety, and it didn't have a lot of issues either. The beans filled in so quickly. This potato vine has filled in so quickly. I think it's amazing. I love the arbors. Those are a new addition this year, and they are by far one of my favorite items that I've added so far. Look at the tomatoes. I think if I would have had 2 more on this side, it would have filled in so much, and it would look so nice to walk through here. But I know that for next year. I know only to do 2 plants, and the Super Sweet 100 is one of my favorites so far. If you have another variety that you love that's similar, let me know down below. Not sure if you remember, but I had a nasturtium trailing out of here. I truly loved it. I'm gonna do it for fall. It's this one right here. The colors are beautiful. It was one of my favorites. I highly recommend it. This is where I had all my strawberries, and I'm sure they'll come back if they don't, because I think that's what happened last year. I must have done something really wrong, or this is how they normally grow and they come back every year. You let me know, but my strawberries are not even here anymore. This is one cucamelon that came back from the heat of the summer, and I love it. It has a lot of the spider mite stuff, but I do have some cucamelons here. They have been eaten by some pests, so I don't know if I can show you one. I hope that I can get a lot more. You see, they're tiny. They grow just about that size, and I can't wait to eat some. I only ate 1 or 2 last year, and I really do hope that I get more from this one plant, but this is just one plant. You see this? I didn't know what it was. It's papayas, and I have a couple, and I should have taken them out already. These get super large. This was growing from my compost. It does not belong in this raised bed. I've been meaning to put it in a pot, and I haven't done so, but I'm gonna do that. So I have, I don't know, four. I think I have 4. It just grew, and I love papaya. I love it. I've never grown it before. I don't know what to do with it. Let me know too, because this is too much here. And I also have my seedlings that I was growing inside, kind of giving them some natural sun here. I'm gonna probably switch the tomatoes here next year all along this side here and see how they do. I'm not ready yet to show you my sitting area, so if you guessed sitting area, you got it. So that is it. The next video is going to be on my late summer and fall planning, so stay tuned for that, as well as a full tour of the garden and the orchard. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.